Now, when you look at social media and say someone's posted a picture of themselves in a really posh dress, expensive dress, how does that make you feel?
Envious.
Envious,
Yeah.
right? And who do you think is responsible for your feeling of envy? What's your first impression? Is it the other person's fault for making you feel envious?
No, because they might have worked hard to get that.
Okay.
Like they might deserve that, but like.
But you feel envious?
Yeah.
Okay. Or suppose I've been on holiday, a very expensive holiday, the Maldives or something, and I post pictures of this amazing holiday. Does that create the same feeling? Yes? How do you respond to that? Do you think, how do you feel? You feel envious, but then do you think I'm responsible for your envy? Do you think I'm causing your envy?
Yeah.
Yes?
Because you don't have any background of the person who has posted this picture,
Yeah.
for example.
Yeah.
You might feel envious because you don't know whether they've deserved it or they've just like got it.
Big thing. Now, can you help being envious?
No, I feel like it's a natural.
It's a natural reaction,
Yeah.
right? Can you stop yourself being envious?
No.
No, it's an automatic reaction. You have no control over it, right? Do you want to feel envious?
No.
No.
We don't want to feel envious, do we? Right? But we can't help it, can we? Do you understand?
Yeah.
We, who are in control of everything, are not in control of this, are we? Do you understand? Okay. Now, how does envy make us feel? How do you feel inside when you're envious?
Like you kind of like don't want them to do what they're doing to make you feel that like that.
Okay? Yeah?
Or you would want to do like them, kind of. You
Okay.
would get your expectations higher.
So it may make you want to imitate others, right? Their dress sense. I mean, so many people imitate the dress sense of pop stars and social influencers, and all of that carries on, right? So either it makes you imitate them, or it makes you feel envious. That feeling of envy, what does our mind respond? How do we respond to that feeling of envy towards that person? How do we feel towards them? Or how do we feel inside?
Anger.
Anger,
Selfish.
selfish. You think they're selfish. Makes you angry, sad. What else can it make you feel?
Annoyed.
Annoyed. Okay. And suppose someone is better at maths or football or athletics or, all the time. How does that make you feel? How does it affect your sense of self-confidence?
It like kind of brings it down.
Why?
Because you're seeing someone else who's better than you, but then you're trying and you're like not like them.
Yes, so it can affect our sense of self-confidence, can't it? Right? So I can feel, oh, I'm not good enough. And then I'll never be good enough. And then you stop trying, right? Do you see what I mean? So envy makes us angry, sad, loses our self-esteem. What happens to our friendships? If I'm envious, we're best of friends, and I'm envious or jealous of what you're doing, how good you are, how pretty you are, all of that, how does it affect our friendship?
Causes arguments.
Arguments, or even worse,
Breakups.
breakups, right?
I feel like it depends on how you respond, because me and Chloe are good friends, but if Chloe had something that I wanted, I wouldn't respond in a way to cause an argument. I would be happy for her
Okay.
that she had it, even though I wanted it. I would be happy that she had it.
Now, is that an instinctive reaction, or is it something you have to consciously do?
You probably have to teach yourself, like,
I feel
That's
like
what I'm saying. You have to teach yourself, see? Because your first reaction is envy, you don't like the person. It creates a distance, is what I'm saying. You know, even among brothers and sisters, right? In families, it's so common, you know. Like parents will compare one child versus the other. Have you all had that? Or compare you with other children. Again, that damages our self-esteem, right? And it can lead to depression as well, right? If it's on a scale, if it's on this end of the spectrum, it can make you depressed as well, all right? So, it's important that you find an answer to it, right? Right? Wouldn't you like to find an answer to envy?
Yeah.
Yeah? Right? And if we can solve this problem together, you could be free for the rest of your life. Wouldn't that be amazing? Yeah? Do you understand? Right? Okay. So, what's happening in my thinking? What's behind the feeling of envy? What's the mechanics of it? What's happening? What thought process is going on that creates the feeling of envy?
You want to be the best.
You want to be like the other person, right? Or the best.
You would like to be better than them, or like the same as other people.
But usually you want to be better,
Yes.
right? Okay. What is behind that feeling of envy? What's creating that feeling? What am I doing when I am looking at your maths result and feeling bad? Comparing, right? See what I mean? What am I doing when I'm looking at how pretty you are? Comparing. Do you understand? When I look at the holiday you've been on, I'm comparing. Do you understand? It's an unconscious process of thinking. Have a think about that. I'm going to repeat it one more time because this is the nub of the whole thing. There are many unconscious patterns of thinking that are operating in the background, which we're not aware of, that cause all our feelings. So as you said, my mind is unconsciously but constantly comparing itself with others. Do you think that's true?
Yes.
We're looking at the same moon together, the same mind. Remember, it's your mind. Don't have to believe me. Look at yourself and ask, is it true? Is your mind comparing itself with others all the time?
Yes.
Right? And are you aware of it?
No.
No. See what I mean? Do you understand? Yes? Right? Do you think we've learned something new here?
Yeah.
Okay. My mind is unconsciously comparing itself with everyone around me all the time.
Right.
Now, in some ways, that is important in life. For example, you know, when you meet your class teacher, how do you know it's your class teacher? Because you remember her from before, you have a memory of her,
Yes.
and you compare the person you're seeing with the person you know. Got it?
Right.
How do you find your way home?
You know the streets.
You know the streets, you understand. So there's knowledge, you see, and you compare it with what you know, right? So it's an essential part of thinking, you understand? But it also causes envy, right? Do you understand? So it's not wrong. See, our mind is used to thinking right or wrong. Whose fault is it? That's how I go. I'm feeling this, it's your fault. Or it's my fault. Or it's got to be somebody's fault. But it isn't anybody's fault, right? Because it's just the way our mind is working. It's our... Do you understand the word operating system in computers, like Windows and so on?
Yeah.
Okay? It's hidden from the user, right? The user can't see it. It's in the background. This is part of the human operating system. Understand? Right? Similarly, now that we've understood that my mind is comparing itself with others all the time, unconsciously, and it's causing envy and it's causing all these feelings which I don't want, right?
Yeah.
Then I can respond with intelligence.
Yeah, but as you said, if it's like a feeling, you can't control it, can you? You can't change your feeling
No,
because you just feel it.
right. So what can you do? What can you do? Now that you've understood that this mind of mine is comparing all the time and that process is causing envy, right? What can we do?
Could you try and teach yourself not to?
You can try and teach yourself not to,
So like
not to,
to not feel it or feel another emotion.
okay, not to feel that emotion. What else can we do?
I was gonna say to accept it.
Okay, acceptance, tell me more.
Accept the feelings then, try to put it aside.
Okay, you could accept the feeling is there, or
Or like stop comparing yourself.
got it, right? Stop comparing. Now that to the mind, which is you're hearing it for the first time, feels such a strange thing to do, right? How can I do that? You know, that's your next question. How can my mind stop comparing itself with others automatically all the time? What's the first thing to do, though? What's the first thing to do? What can we do?
Try our hardest to do. Try our hardest to do.
Try your hardest, or just observe it. Do you understand? Just watch it in your own thinking. Next time you're envious, just pause and notice that this is what your mind is doing. Because the comparison is happening unconsciously, and then that's generating this feeling of envy. Do you understand? So if you can watch that process happening in real time, then you have an opportunity of doing something about it. Do you see? Do you understand? You going to try that? Because what are the benefits of not being envious? Of not comparing? If your mind stopped comparing itself with others when it didn't need to, that's what I'm saying. Intelligence means you are in control. You see something clearly, and therefore it allows you then to decide what to do.
But you can never still be in complete control.
It's not about control as much as noticing something. So, I'll give you an example. Say this room was pitch black,
Right.
and you walk into it, and you bump into all the furniture.
Right.
You walk in, you put the light on, right?
You don't bump in.
You don't bump into things. You're driving at night with no lights on, of course you're going to hit everything, right? You put the light on, you can drive safely. Intelligence is like putting the light on. Got it?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
That's all it is. It's like putting the light on. Now, don't just take my word for it. You have to watch it day to day. Watch it as it happens. But I can tell you that you can be completely free of it. Right? Because in real time, I'm noticing, right, that this thing is happening. This is what's happening in my thinking, and it's creating that feeling. And I just look at it and say, that's not intelligent. Do you understand? I want to live with intelligence. And it's just not intelligent for me to compare myself with your looks and your math skills and your football skills. What's going to happen to me? I'm going to spend all my life just feeling depressed, right? So what would be the benefits of not comparing ourselves with others what would be how would our life change if we could not compare ourselves with others?
You would have more time to think about yourself and compare yourself to yourself.
You could
Think
just
how you could
be your own project. You could just
Yeah.
have a dedication to excellence.
Mhm.
So I want to be the best mathematician I can be, but it doesn't matter what you're doing. I just love the subject. I'm going to be the best I can be at whatever it is I'm doing. Do you understand? So then my happiness doesn't depend on being better than somebody else. See? Okay? What other benefits would come if we could come to this point where our mind doesn't compare itself with others?
Working at your own level and not having to push yourself too far from your limit.
You could work at your own level, okay?
You could be happy with what you've got.
Oh my goodness me, of course! See? You can be happy with what you have.
You'd have more confidence in what you do.
You'll have more confidence because your self-confidence is not going to be eroded all the time, right? Okay,
You look on the bright side of things.
we look on the bright side of things, right? And what would happen to the whole social media chaos that goes on right now? You know, do you understand? Social media causes so much trouble in the world. What would happen?
People would be happy with it instead of just being greedy and everything.
Yeah. Got it? You know, I asked this question to a group like you in another school. And this girl told me, she said, if my mind could stop comparing itself with others, we'd be free. You'd be free to walk your own road in life. It doesn't depend on what somebody else is doing. Right? You see the beauty of it, right? But it's not a free lunch, okay? You've got to work for it. You've got to actually do the hard work required to notice what's happening in your thinking. Because if you take it as an ideal, oh, I should not compare, that doesn't work. You notice yourself comparing, you say, is that intelligent? Obviously not. Finished right there.
But comparing in general is not a bad thing, because then if you compare yourself with someone who's better, you might try harder to achieve what your goals are.
You could do. So we're not saying throw the baby out with the bathwater, right? We're saying use your intelligence. Do you understand? Awaken your own intelligence. And that intelligence will decide what to do. See? You see the beauty of this? I'm not telling you what to think. I'm not telling you how to behave. I'm saying notice what's already happening in your own thinking. Right? That'll awaken your own intelligence. That intelligence will do the right thing. So where comparing is needed, like how do we recognize people, go home, maybe do better, I'll do that, you know? Where it's damaging my life, finished. Free. See that? Now here's the beauty of it, kids. If you can do this now, you'll be free for the rest of your life. Right? You'll forget all the maths and science and physics and all that you've been taught here. But this thing, if you remember it and it works, once you discover it, it's yours for life. You see what I mean? Once someone gives you a glass of water, says drink, and you drink it, you'll never forget the taste of it all your life. Do you understand? But I can't tell you what it tastes like. See what I mean? I can just say, hey, here's a glass of water. Oh, here's the mood, look at it. Let's look at it. It's going to change your life if you notice. Got it? Okay.